And we'd ask Attorney Mia to please read that in.
Mr. Acting Chairman and members, House Bill 899 by Representative Wright provides relative to individualized investigational treatments, drugs, or devices to enact the Hope for Louisiana Patients Law to provide access to individualized investigative treatment for patients with life-threatening illnesses, to provide a short title, to provide definitions, to permit the expansion of existing insurance coverage provisions, to prohibit actions against healthcare providers, to establish provisions for the death of a patient, to prohibit private causes of action and insurance mandates, to establish provisions for the treatment of unemancipated minors, to provide for severability, and to provide for related matters.
Chairman Wright, I don't think there's anything left to be said, but on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Chair. I appreciate that. Colleagues, I appreciate the time to come to you today with this bill. I'm working with a group called the Goldwater Institute, and we're going to introduce that in a moment. But basically, this has been called the idea of a right to try bill, is what some people have called it. I'm going to read a quick little section of the digest that kind of gives you a perspective of the heart of it, which is essentially provide an individualized investigational drug, biological product, or device in an eligible patient without receiving compensation, require an eligible patient to pay the costs associated with it, the manufacture of the investigational drug and biological product or device. And essentially what this bill would allow in Louisiana, and we're seeing this being used in other places, and even it's been discussions at the federal level, it'll give Louisiana residents the opportunity to try investigational drugs or procedures or whatever the case may be. Our understanding is that local medical community likes this, and I'm going to turn it over to the Goldwater Institute, let them talk a bit about it. They've been working on this bill, like I said, in other places, and they're the real experts, so thanks.
Thank you, Chairman Wright. Good morning. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, and then after you finish, we'll need you to please fill out a card.
Thank you. Dear Chairman Miller, Vice Chair Butler, and members of the Committee on Health and Welfare, my name is Naomi Lopez, and I am a Senior Fellow in Healthcare Policy at the Goldwater Institute, which is based in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you for allowing me to offer my public comments regarding House Bill 899 as you consider this important issue to protect the right to try to save one's own life without having to beg the federal government for permission to do so. Imagine that there is a new treatment for a rare disease. It's custom made for you based on your own genetic or cellular profile. It offers you hope, but you can't access it, even though your doctor says it could save your life. The reason? Federal regulations are ancient by today's standards, and they're not designed to allow these new genetic and cellular treatments. For example, Casveggie, which was recently approved by the Food and Drug Administration, is the first cell-based gene therapy for sickle cell, which I know has been an important topic in this committee. Louisiana has an important opportunity to lead the nation in solving this problem and save lives by championing the Hope for Louisiana Patients Law. The federal barriers to life-saving treatment are not hypothetical. Louisiana lawmakers have already been a leader in putting patients' rights first and cutting through medical red tape. Under the original Right to Try Act, which Louisiana unanimously passed and enacted in 2014, patients gained the right to seek treatments that are safe enough to be used in clinical trials, but remained under clinical evaluation for final FDA approval. The Federal Right to Try Act was later signed into law in 2018 and is now law of the land. We know that Right to Try works, and we've seen some really great examples of the success of that law. The trouble is that this law needs to be upgraded and modernized to account for the rapid advancements in medicine, such as gene and cellular therapies, which aren't covered under the original law. That's where the Hope for Louisiana Patients Law comes in. The new law does not change in any way the successful original Right to Try law. Unfortunately, the individualized treatments are still subject to the same clinical process as a single treatment that is intended for hundreds or thousands of patients. And unfortunately, for many rare and ultra-rare disease patients, there probably won't be enough patients to conduct a clinical trial. And that's why this bill is so important. The Hope for Louisiana Patients Law accounts for new innovations, and it helps get those innovations to the patients who need them today. This reform is now law in both Arizona and Nevada, and just this week, Mississippi's legislators sent their version of the law, known as the Life-Saving Treatment Act, to Governor Tate Reese for his signature. Individualized treatments are being pioneered all over the world, but too often U.S. patients don't have access to these potentially life-saving treatments. They either have to travel overseas or they have to forgo treatment and waiting for a treatment to become available, but it's often too late. They succumb to these cruel diseases. It doesn't have to be this way. Louisiana can continue to lead on the important goal of getting the right treatment to the right patient at the right time. Removing the government red tape that stands in the way of a doctor's treatment options does not require additional taxpayer investment, and it can be achieved in a manner that ensures patient safety and informed consent. Louisiana lawmakers have the authority, as well as the legislative vehicle, to unleash the potential of today's medical innovations to further benefit these rare and ultra-rare disease patients. Thank you for your consideration of this important reform.
I might add, just for the sake of it, that Ms. Lopez actually was a resident of Shreveport for 13 years. She's not with us now, but obviously working for the Goldwater Institute. But so that gets you resident status in my book. So thank you for joining us.
A domicile here? You working on it?
We could do that.
All right, thank you. Representative Jackson for questions.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to ask a very layman's question: is what does this bill do?
Yeah, no, that's
If I
good.
show up to the hospital,
So
what do I do?
I'm bad with even making routine doctor appointments, so much less do not consider myself in any kind of way a health expert, and hopefully will never be for the rest of my life. No offense, but it's just not my cup of tea. I couldn't make it through medical school, that's for sure. Essentially, it updates an ability for some of these treatments to be used since obviously we have something from 2014. The feds updated and created the law in 18. So this adds some extras to it, and I'll let Ms. Lopez address any specifics, but it's an update to this area.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And look, I'll take a stab at it. Tell me if I'm wrong. But if there's a rare cancer that someone gets and there's no scientifically approved treatment, there was no trial runs, maybe, or not sufficient enough trial runs, then we're giving that physician the right to ability to try as potentially last resort for this patient. I mean, that's pretty much what this bill does, right? Rep. Jackson, I don't know if that answered your questions. All right. Just thought I'd take a stab at it. LDH is not here. Helton, we have 3 green cards. That's present in support, do not wish to speak, and I cannot read this. Louis Adala. Oh. Look, man, next time you come, just print it out for me so I can read it good. Good try, though. Ian Terrio. It's one of y'all. Raise your hand. All right. Dylan LaCosta. Did I say it right? All right, all 3 of them are present in support and do not wish to speak. I kind of wish we should probably pull one of them up and let them talk. Huh?
Look,
you want to talk?
Rummel's got a great history of elected positions.
They got someone want to speak on your bill. Come on.
Come on up.
Where's Rummel? Is it Rummel Catholic? We'll get his card. So when you get a second, just fill out a green card for us, all right, and put that you wish to speak. State your name. No, you can do the green card after. State your name and.
Me and Terrio.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You familiar with this bill? Oh, what grade are you in? Rep. Burrell, that's your
I'm
district?
a junior.
Okay. We have questions from Rep. Burrell.
Oh, not my district, but thank you for coming. What about this bill made you interested to come up and talk about it today?
I mean, well, I just put myself in that scenario. You know, if I was in this life or death scenario and it's the last chance, I hope. I mean, I'm all about last chances. Might as well.
Very well said. Move favorable.
All right. You have more questions. Representative Egan.
Yes, Ian. I'm wondering if maybe we should have brought some St. Paul's students this morning. You think they'd have more to add?
I don't know.
Welcome to the Capitol, Rummel students. Great to have you all here.
They're backing up their loves, and St. Paul's not here. So
Egan, this board is lighting up. You have questions from Representative Myers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ian, no offense to you, I'm going to bring it back to the bill here.
That's okay. That's okay.
Appreciate you, Chairman Wright, for bringing this bill. Just personally for me, we lost my mother-in-law about a year ago to a rare disease called MSA, which is a rare form of Parkinson's-like disease. And if something like this would have been available, we would have done anything possible if we would have seen anything out there that we could have put her in experimentally, because there was absolutely no hope for her. So again, these are the types of things that I do feel like we need to be paying special attention to. I just want to make sure that we move this favorably for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's a great bill, but number two, I don't want Chairman Wright to be embarrassed in front of all of the young men from his alumni school. So, as amended.
Thank you, Representative Myers. Representative Jackson's.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just going to let Chairman Wright know that you're putting a lot of pressure on us to get bills passed by bringing your entire alumni down.
Whatever it takes. Come on. I know you got some tricks in the bag. Come on.
You said, I went to Woodlawn, but I don't know if Woodlawn BR would count. I went to Woodlawn in Shreveport, but you're setting the bar high for us to have kids come to push your bill through. But good bill, and look forward to supporting it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you to the...
Oh. It does.
Representative McMahon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Wright, I appreciate you bringing this bill. If I was in that position, I'd sure want that opportunity. But I've got a question for Ian and his friends. This is the House Health and Welfare. There's a Senate House and Welfare on the other side. If you guys were available next week with your green cards, I might could use you over there if y'all could get back. We appreciate y'all being here.
So he's asking y'all to come next week and help him on his bill. He thinks if y'all come and put green cards in it, it'll help him get his bill passed.
You're going to have to talk to Brother B about that.
Okay. Listen, again, students, thank y'all for coming. And thank you so much for coming up here and giving us a few laughs. Representative Wright, there are no red cards on this bill. I think we've mentioned the green cards. You have the right to close. Oh, I'm sorry. Representative Egan? Oh, what's your point? A red card. I didn't. Oh, well, I'm sorry. You can bring it. So, Egan, just let him sit, please. Listen, you're welcome to come up and speak and give us the card. Oh, we'll just give it back to him. Give it back to him. He'll complete it once he finished speaking.
It's not that I'm against the bill. It's just that I have one concern with it. I worked 43 years in the hospital system, cardiopulmonary and respiratory. My name is Richard Mahoney, by the way. And the only thing that concerns me about this bill is I actually have some friends right now who are doing experimental treatments for their cancer. And some of them are wacko. And this bill just caught my eye because of the fact that if there's no limits to this experimental treatment, you can actually have very detrimental treatment. And it will introduce more and more detrimental treatments. You can't just go, well, I'm dying, so I'm going to do this. I got a friend that's doing that. I said, don't do that. That's bad for you. So I think in this bill, which is good bill, there's got to be some oversight about exactly what is this experimental treatment and, what has it done? What has been the negative effects? You can't just, okay, I'm dying, so I just want to try anything, because that would then open the door, the Pandora, to some things that are very harmful for patients.
So wouldn't the oversight come from the medical board? I mean, a provider.
I was just here with the.
Yeah, I'm just saying how I perceive this bill. A medical provider, if they provide any treatment, that could cause harm to a patient. Although I know this is investigational, but they have to be able to prove some type of scientific research to the medical
I just
board.
didn't hear it in the bill. So
I don't.
Sure.
I think that's just understood. That's what the board regulates them for. But I'll let you answer.
Chairman Miller, thank you for raising this important issue. This is a very, very serious area of medicine. We don't take it lightly. We met with stakeholders for about 2 years. So what we did in this bill is we created layers of protection for informed consent and for the treatment for those patients. So the way this bill works is that only facilities that have a current federal-wide assurance, which is a certification that's made by the Department of Health and Human Services, and has a registered institutional review board with the Department of Health and Human Services, can proceed with these treatments. And so, understanding that lawmakers do not want to ever put their constituents in a dangerous situation, we have created the multiple layers of protection in order to make sure that there is no Wild West of medicine taking place. These are facilities that are already registered and in good standing with the federal government. The institutional review boards are required to approve the treatment before moving forward, as well as continually to evaluate it. And so we hold those same concerns, and I can assure you that those protections are already in place in the bill.
Right, that's all
I think he withdraws opposition. The institutional review board process is like a national process for these type of facilities, correct?
Chairman Miller, that's a very good question. So they operate independently, but there are, under the federal-wide assurance, a litany of rules and regulations that the entire facility that's covered by it have to follow, and the institutional review boards as well. So this system has been in place for about 40 years. So we're not reinventing the wheel here. We are using and working in tandem with regulations and rules that have been in place for decades.
So the new research that Rep. Jackson created last night in his dreams, he can't use that tomorrow, right? More questions for Jackson.
Yeah, no, I have a statement. I think Chairman Wright, what I would envision maybe, some involvement with our research institutions. I'm thinking about LSU Health Science Center in Shreveport. I don't mean a shameless plug here which is in my district, right? But back during the height of COVID, before the federal government ever rolled out really significant testing, the medical school students there had come up with a test, and they were doing testing of their own. And so, that type of innovation, that's what I kind of see your bill as I try to read between the lines of the bill is there's an opportunity, I think, for research and innovation, probably some patents to come along here. If we can probably partner this up with some of the medical schools and research that's going on in our academic institutions, and they can start taking some of these drugs that may have not gone through the process or been done all the way or vetted, they can probably latch on to this and move it forward. So I can see some innovation probably coming out of it.
Absolutely. In fact, the the gentleman who happens to be a longtime friend who gave me the idea to file this bill, that was one of the first things he talked about, is that a lot of local institutions appreciate this opportunity to do these things. So I totally agree. I think Ms. Lopez addressed the institutional review board and other things. But if you have more to add, Phil.
I will definitely be sending this to my medical school folks over at I think we call it Emerging Viral Threat Lab, where they're looking at all of these viruses and cancers and things of this nature that are just kind of uncommon and that we're not familiar with and we don't recognize. I'll be sending this to them to say, hey, can y'all look at how y'all can link into this bill? Now, hopefully they won't ask us for any more money, any additional money to do it, but I think it's worth it, though, and I think we can be a hub for innovation in this area. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, members, we have a motion by Representative Wright to move HB 899 favorably. Is there any opposition? Hearing none, HB 899 is reported favorably. We also have a motion by Representative McMahon to adjourn. Hearing no opposition, meeting is adjourned. McMahon.